Hello, friends. Welcome to Dragonmount. Today I'm going to be talking to you about an article by Rajiv Mote, one of the great people who work over at Dragonmount.com. He writes blog posts for us, and he also is on our podcast, which really only takes place when the show is, so you should be expecting some new episodes relatively soon. If you already want to read the article and you don't need to hear me talk about it, go ahead and jump over to the article now and give it a read, and then come back and watch this video. Welcome to Dragonmount. Big shout out to our sponsors, Tor Books, and all of the lovely people who follow and like and subscribe to our channels. We love doing this, and it's a ton of fun. Recently, Rajiv shared his thoughts on Season 2 for the Wheel of Time show. He thinks of the pacing of the show, like we know they have to for television, sped things up a bit, where at the end of Book 1, the whole gang is still pretty much together, and they're not split apart until a quarter of the way through Book 2. At the end of Season 1 of the Wheel of Time, the entire gang actually is split apart, and instead of that happening early on in Season 2 like it did in Book 2, it's already taken place. So we know that probably by the end, if not the last episode of Season 2, we'll have a event of some kind happening in Thom, which is a town on the western coast of what they're referring to in the show as the Westlands, and what the book readers referred to as Randland, the continent that the majority of the story takes place on. So in the book, they have to travel by foot for the majority of this adventure that they're on, and there's a lot of stuff in between. They pick up some new people, they meet an Aiel for the first time, and some of our characters experience very traumatic events that shape the way they look at the world. It takes a while for them to learn from the experience and use it in a positive manner, but I'm really interested to see how the actors deal with this situation in the show. Rajiv points out in a great way how in the show they've sped up the process, which is what they need to do, and I think they've done it in the best way possible with what they had to work with from Season 1, from everything we understand, you know, the COVID hardships, an actor leaving, having to do rewrites and re-edits, budget constraints from having to do surprise set building and all that stuff. They really need to land Season 2. Excuses like that aren't going to work for this season. They really need to land Season 2. There hasn't been any hardships like that, so I'm really hoping for a good season. I totally agree with Rajiv's article. The improvements that we've seen to the CGI is fantastic. Updated channeling with colors in the weaving, and the costuming, as always, is fantastic, so I really can't wait to see how some of these characters act on screen. One of the things I'm particularly excited about are the Maidens of the Spear, the Aiel, Aiula Smart, Raga Ragnas, and Maya, I think is how you pronounce her name, Simonson. If I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, I'm sorry. They are the ABC Maidens, who we're affectionately referring to them as, but we know them as Avienda, Bane, and Chiad. Now, in the series, we meet them later on, and at this point in the book, we meet a different Aiel. Obviously, things need to change for pacing purposes and, you know, for condensing. For me, as I've said many times before, I'm excited to be able to be surprised by the Wheel of Time again. As Brandon Sanderson says in his books, it really is about the journey, not so much the destination. I mean, we know where the destination is going to be for the Wheel of Time, or at least, you know, for the most part. They could change things, but the journey itself seems like that's where some of the stuff can change, as long as the heart of these characters in the story is still there, and the destination, for the most part, remains the same. Well, enough of me talking about Rajiv's article. Go read it yourself over on Dragonmount.com, and read some of the other articles that are on there too. There are great blog posts from great writers, diehard fans of the series for a very long time, and under the new leadership of Kathy Campbell as the CEO, we're really excited to take Dragonmount into the future of the fandom. As always, one love, spread love, not hate. We support the SAG-AFTRA and WGA strikes, are talking about the Wheel of Time show because it is not a WGA SAG-AFTRA project. We know that the corporate news media won't probably be covering a lot of the Wheel of Time show because they don't have the actors to interview for it because they cannot talk about any kind of projects that are involved with struck companies. monies, but we can. So we're going to do everything we can to promote this show as content creators, as fans, get friends to watch it. You know, if you know people that aren't subscribed to Amazon Prime, see if they can subscribe to Amazon Prime for when The Wheel of Time comes out, even if they only do it for a month to watch the show and then cancel it. We want to give as much love to this show as possible so that we can see a season 3 and 4 and 5 and, you know, see this show through to the end. Anyway, you can catch us on Mondays regularly for our rewatch series. Usually right now we're covering the season 2 promotional materials for The Wheel of Time as we lead into August 31st for us over in the States on the East Coast and September 1st for the rest of the world. And I'll see you next time. Peace.
And that's our show. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, please subscribe, hit the like button, give us a thumbs up, or leave us a comment. We love comments, especially positive ones. And if you have any friends that are interested in The Wheel of Time, please share some of our videos with them. And as always, a huge thank you to our sponsor, Tor Books, as well as our amazing Patreon community. And if you are interested in learning about how more of this show was made or some Wheel of Time insights, you too can become a member of the Patreon community. And as always, follow us on Dragonmount with social media. And thank you so much for watching.